Hello and welcome. This is Rooflemonger. And my friends, today we're talking Street Fighter 6, and we're talking specifically about one of the most hyped up mechanics in Street Fighter 6 as, well, parries are back. It's been a while, and now they're back with a vengeance. In fact, just a universal mechanic, right? So it's not like Street Fighter 5 where it's tied to Ryu and Gil's V-skills or the whatever. Everyone can parry now. So basically in this video, I'm just going to break it all down for you. All the upsides of the parries and some of the downsides, because there is a few. And basically, hopefully, ideally, this will let you know when's a good time to parry, when not, and what the best applications are for it. So that said, well, hey, let's get into it. So one of the things about parry you need to get out of your head immediately is, for the most part, it is not like the Street Fighter 3 parry. Because in Street Fighter 3, like, this kind of stuff wouldn't exist, right? You can simply hold the parry. There is elements of timing it, which we'll get into later in the video, but when you're holding it, it's effectively a shield, if you will. Like, almost like a Zangief armoring through a move with his V-skill in Street Fighter 5. As long as you hold it, you can take as many hits are coming your way. There ain't no fuss or worry. In a way, you can almost consider yourself effectively invincible while holding this. The enemy cannot hit you or hurt you, right? The only thing they can do is throw you. And we'll get more into the throw aspect of it all later, but it's a pretty big deal. So at bare minimum, you can do stuff like, oh, hey, the opponent's spamming projectiles, right? That sucks. And like, yeah, you can walk and block, but every time you walk and block, you lose a little bit of your gauge, right? Your drive meter goes down. And if you block enough, well, eventually, like, as you can see here, you're just going down. Now, conversely, instead of losing a little bit of your drive gauge and getting pushed back, if you do a parry, you see you start gaining gauge for every parry. Not a lot, but, you know, it is a net positive if they keep spamming fireballs. And it could be my old age tricking me, but I think you also get pushed back a little bit less when you parry move versus just you blocking the move. So that's another bonus if you want to give up less ground versus projectiles or various attacks. So basically, at the bare minimum, it's your personal defense shield, right? That's about it. You hold it and ain't nothing hurting me in my castle as long as I keep it up. And it does cost a little bit of meter, and I mean a little bit, because it's only about half a bar to activate, right? And if you hold it, it does drain a little slowly, but for the most part, it's low cost, low effort, and it keeps you safe. Now, that's the basics. Now let's talk the fancy stuff, the stuff everyone wants to know about. The perfect parry. Where, with correct timing, oh, look at that. That big, satisfying slow down, the cool effect is happening, all that kind of stuff. That's what you want, right? And also, the big benefit of getting the perfect parry is it lets you do all sorts of fancy punishes, right? Like, normally, that's just not going to work. Like, this move is much too slow to punish this move. Never going to happen in a million years. But with a perfect parry, look at that. There we go, right? We got the counter. We got the combo. This move that was too slow normally, the perfect parry, lets us do it. Because with all that screen stop, it leaves you at a wild amount more advantage. Like right there, it says we're plus 24 frames after the move. Conversely, versus, like here, normally we're plus 6. So it's like over 20 additional frames plus, right? So that lets you get big time combos. The only downside to those big time combos, normally this combo here that you saw, it does a good chunk of change, right? So 2,900-ish damage. As you can see here, now it says 1490, so the damage is significantly less here. The combo is scaled very heavily. Specifically, combo scaling, normally the first hit of a combo, you know, there's no combo scaling. But for anything from a perfect parry, combo scaling starts at 50%. So basically, there's a bit of give and take. You're guaranteed a combo you could not get in any possible other way, but that combo is not going to hurt as hard. So that's the downside. But hey, once again, you're getting damage you couldn't get otherwise, so don't look a gift horse in the mouth. It works out in the end. Now, another thing to note about perfect parry is the timing is quite strict. Specifically, it is 2 frames. Now, no matter what, when you hit a parry, you start parrying on frame 1, right? But if you want the perfect parry with the slowdown effect, That has to be in a very specific window. If you look here, so right here, so we look at the frame bar here, and I know it's going to get a little confusing. I'm sorry, but bear with me here. So that purple frame you see is basically the frame I hit the button. And the next frame here, where you see the 9, is the first active frame of Luke's attack, and that's the frame that hit me during my parry. So therefore, within the first 2 frames, the second frame specifically of that, it hit me and it triggered the perfect parry. This time right here, it hit me on the first possible frame. So there's no purple startup frame you saw earlier. The first active frame of the move hit my first frame of parrying, and therefore perfect parry. So you have 1 or 2 frames. Now here, you see the first 2 frames here that are purple? So that's frame 1, frame 2. And on the third frame, where you see Luke's pink active frames go live, is when I parried the move. And therefore, it's too late. I still parried the move just fine, right? That's fine. I parry it pretty as you please. But it is not the fancy parry that slows down time. It is simply the regular parry. So you need pretty specific timing to get perfect parries. Just FYI. If you want that fancy Daigo moment, you're going to have to earn it. Another specific point about perfect parries is you still, no matter what, even if it hits on the first or second frame, have to perfectly time it. So we have this set up here where Luke's going to bop me in the head, right? And he does a frame kill. He whiffs that crouch medium kick. So specifically, that crouch light punch you see hits me on the exact frame I wake up on. So that's good. So it's frame perfect, so if I hold my parry when I wake up, I should perfect parry it every time, right? Nope. Because I hit it too early. Regardless of me holding it, right? You're allowed to hold it. Like, so, you know, when you wake up, you'll wake up with it. That's fine. But if you don't perfectly time it in that 1 or 2 frame window, you still won't get it. So no matter what, you can be rest assured that every time you see a perfect parry, they earned it. They definitely earned it. So as you can see here in this little slice where the pink and yellow frames meet, that hit in 1 or 2 frames of my parry timing, so therefore I get it. If I hold it too early, well, nothing's going to happen. And I suppose if you hold it too late, well, then you're just going to get hit, right? So basically, just to impress upon you, you got to earn those perfect parries. End of story. Now, a very important thing about parries. So we already went over a lot of the positives, just from walking and stopping fireballs or various attacks and all the cool perfect parry stuff, is unless you land that perfect parry, all the parries have recovery time. Like, even at fastest possible timing, a parry has 29 frames of recovery. That is a half of a second. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but trust me, in fighting game terms, that is a lot. So there's an upside for you, the parrier, that kind of breaks the rules of how Street Fighter normally works. Because normally in Street Fighter, like, recovery frames, until your recovery frames are done, you cannot block. Like, you are subject to eating crap, basically, right? And for parrying, it actually doesn't work that way. And this is unique to this mechanic and this mechanic only. So normally, how you think this would happen is, during the recovery, I can bop you in your head, right? Like, heck, look, he whiffs it, right? Punish counter. Punish counter, so you can get the big time combos, right? And it says punish counter because I'm hitting you in your recovery frames, because that's how the game works. It rewards you with a punish counter. But now have a gander here. He's going to whiff it again, right? He blocked. He blocked. What's going on? He's blocking this. Like, you definitely saw earlier in the recovery frames, like, I was getting punish counters on this guy, right? Now look at the frame data. It shows clear as day that I hit him during the recovery frames and he still blocks. You know, the 20 plus recovery frames did not finish up and he gets the block. So how this works is during the recovery frames of a parry, you're still allowed to block, regardless of the fact that you are in recovery frames. And you can block low, you can block overhead, it doesn't matter. You are always allowed to block, despite the fact that you are in recovery frames. So this makes fishing for perfect parries a lot more safe. Because if you whiff the parry and they go for the attack, you still get the block. So that's huge. That is absolutely huge. The only thing is, there's one thing it don't save you from. You do indeed get to block anything and everything during your recovery of your parry. But what you don't get to do is tech throws. No matter how you do it, however late you are into the recovery, you're going to get thrown. So that's what makes throws extra deadly against all forms of parries. Because if you parry, and you're either in the parry state or you're recovering from a parry, you are guaranteed to get thrown. Now, at no point in the parry process are you allowed to tech a throw. And now, if you're watching this later on in the game's life, we're recording this during the closed beta test, and there's no grappler characters, like no E Honda, no Zangief or anything like that. The thing about this is it always grants punish counter, and punish counter has different rules for throws. A regular throw in this game does 1200 damage, and this is forward or back throw, and seemingly across the whole cast, at least in the beta. A punish counter throw gives a lot more damage. Specifically, it gives a 70% increase of damage. So punish counters do more damage on like buttons, but they don't do a 70% increase, right? But it does for throws. So it takes a basic generic throw, and then it makes it hurt like it's like Zangief spinning pile driver. Takes a big chunk of your life, right? And potentially for the characters that have, spinning pile drivers, it might be even more wildly powerful yet if that 70% bonus applies to command grabs, as it does for regular throws. So against all sorts of strikes, as we went over several times in the video, you're God. When you're parrying, ain't nothing touching you. And even if you screw up your perfect parry timing, you still get the block. So that's a great bonus. But you better believe, and you better hope, that your enemy is not in throw range, because those throws are gonna hurt. Big. Now, for some other odds and ends, you can perfect parry every attack that's parryable, even when it doesn't make too much sense. Like, say, a regular fireball, you can do the regular parry all you want, and you can perfect parry it. You even get to see, like, that inky flash compared to, like, how a normal parry hit would work, right? But, it doesn't really matter too much, but it's there. It's an option. Now, another thing that's quite important to know is the basic parry, not the perfect parry, is, as far as frame data is concerned, the same as just regular blocking. So Luke will crouch block, he does his punch. And that, we're +6, he's -6. If we do the same thing, we hold it, and we let go on the first frame, that we can let go on, same deal, right? We're +6, he's -6. The only difference is the game will let you overhold a parry, right? It only lets go when you let go of the button. So, therefore, you can overhold it, and now all of a sudden we're the ones negative, right? You only get the normal frame data of what a block would be if you let go normally, like right when the hit happens. You overhold it, and all of a sudden your +6 moment here from a block could be -32. So don't overhold it. As soon as you see a hit, you let go. And say, once again, if you let go too early, as you went over earlier, you still get the block, even though you're in recovery frames, so don't stress it too much. And that is about the long and short of it. We're going to have many, many years of Street Fighter 6, and it might take a while for a lot of people to get the hang of it. And potentially in time, proper parry usage will probably separate the good players from the great players. But for now, these are the basics. This is the info you need to know, and hopefully it helped you out. So if this video did help you out, or if you at least found it informative, give it a like. That'd be great. Be a pal. And otherwise, well, we're at the end of the video, so thank you very much for watching. Hope this video has found you well, and go out and play some Street Fighter.